Raul Podcast.
What's up, y'all? It's Roberto here with Anthony. Anthony Uribe. He's my boo thing. He's my wife.
How's that?
It's Pride Month. Wait, when's
It's-
Pride Month? It's Pride Month. We in Pride Month though.
Jamie.
I saw that poster. I saw the poster by the LVAC. It was like
But I don't trust the gays.
Pride Month event. You think they just be having it at different times all over the country because they're trying to slowly take over?
They like you're not part of it. Like either of us aren't part of it.
Nah. My girl is trying to reform me. She is telling me that being gay is gay.
It's it's June. Is this
June.
month June? This is June.
Yeah,
We're
we're
in
in
June.
right now. Yeah.
I told you I'm not good with
Hey,
months.
I knew it. Deep in my soul, I knew it. You feel me?
Do you feel extra gay this
Oye
month?
mi gente. No, I feel extra straight. I'm extra homophobic, twin. You getting enough love from everybody else. Hate yourself a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have much to bring to the podcast.
I can tell.
In my defense,
You're
I've had.
tired from work.
Nah, it's not even. Yeah, but it's been a very stagnant. It's been a very stagnant type of day. You feel me? This is actually my last day of work in that veterinary clinic. Yeah, it's actually my last day of work in that veterinary clinic.
What do you mean your last day? I thought you were gonna still get like a few hours.
No. So pretty much they were gonna cut me off at 20 exactly because they were like, we might as well we're just gonna cut you at 20 exactly. And I was like, at that point, like I was telling you, I'm just gonna sell tequino. So I was doing the math on it, and like at the lowest we were selling when we were still selling, we're making like $95 a day. Which if I work with you or work at any other spot, you feel me?
Yeah, it's me close to that. Like
With the
minimum wage for sure. It's I think when I checked it was around $100 and you get taxed. So it's gonna be probably around there or less.
Yeah, so honestly at this point I was like, if I'm barely like tethered to the clinic, there's no real point in me continuing to stay in the clinic. So today is technically my last day.
How does that feel then? Before we continue, episode 15. Welcome back, and that's it.
We promised you a special, but
I don't think we said next episode. I think we said soon. So it will come out eventually.
Yeah.
It's going from soon to eventually. Because I'm slow as hell.
nah, it's not even that. I think it's just because it's gonna take a full fucking day.
Yeah, it's more full day type of thing.
I agree. How does it feel? It feels pretty, man. Like I don't. I feel like I'm very like emotionally stunted when it comes to like big events. Like it feels like a solid like it's a solid 6 on the emotional scale. 10 being like your mama dying, and 1 being like you stubbing your toe, but not hard, like just annoyingly.
Yeah, upset.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
upset.
just like you're like that kind of sucked, but
Yeah.
I'll continue.
Okay,
Yeah.
I get that. I feel like, well, at least for me, it's like like you said, it feels like no matter what big thing it is, it does feel kind of just like it's always around a 5 or 6.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like so. Yeah. Okay.
Hold on.
And I think that there's positives to that. I think that there's negatives to that for sure. But like in regards to like its actual like impact on my life, it's not gonna be too severe. So I'm not like worrying or anything.
Okay. Yeah, you do have a plan, and I'm sure you're not like fucked by this. Like you know, like you've been saving up. And,
yeah,
like, all
exactly.
that.
Like I still have technically.
Yeah, because you put in your 2 weeks technically, so you already had a plan.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, but at this point, it's also just like, I've been wanting to get out of the clinic so bad, not so badly, but I've been like in the works of getting out of the clinic for so long at this point that it's just like doing it, I guess, a little earlier or a little like, what's it called? A little
Prematurely.
Yeah, it isn't the end of the world. Like, yeah, it just means I'm gonna be like I guess, a little bit more responsible with the finances in terms of like random spending for a little bit.
Yeah.
But like by no means am I like worried about like my income or anything.
Okay. I got that.
Yeah.
I feel like that also makes sense for it to feel like a 6.
Yeah,
'Cause it's more of a just getting into the transition versus like mentally preparing for it.
No, yeah, exactly. It'd be different if it was like a thoughtless process where I was jumping into it and I have to think about it while I'm doing it.
Yeah, like getting fired or something.
Yeah, getting fired sucks, dude. Getting fired with no resources in terms of like being able to get a job for sure sucks balls.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite literally like either these people are gonna hire me or I'm gonna try and get in with you, and if that doesn't work, I have a couple other options that like. Do I necessarily want to do? No, but it's still other options.
It's Pride Month. He's gonna sell his body.
Hey, you know the Pride Parade coming to town.
I kind of always wanted to go to like one of those Pride things just to see what it was like, but then sometimes I see videos of what it's like.
I saw a video on Twitter, not even on Twitter. I saw a video on Instagram from Twitter, like pre-Instagram AI, where it was just a dude getting fisted, just straight up on somebody's shoulder like this.
So over the shoulder, their ass is where their face is.
Over the
next
shoulder,
to their face.
what's it called? Over the shoulder, like concrete bag pose.
Yeah.
Straight up just fisting this man wide open, New York street type shit. It was.
I've been here.
No, I don't think it was here. I think it looked like New York, but it could realistically be any big city. You feel me? Because it was just a big city with like big buildings, and they're just walking down the street. But yeah, it was a traumatizing video, man.
Damn. I guess I won't go.
Which I will say, there's no like guarantee that all of them are like that. But
what do you mean them?
All
what do you mean
them,
those people?
Them. I said all of them, as in the Pride Parade themselves, like all of them Pride parades. But maybe some because they be having like It's scary when there be like kids there, bro. And they be like grown men in full latex outfits. I'm like, I don't know if you should be here, Tway.
Yeah, that's the only time where I'm like, you know what? Don't show this to your kids.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like full grown man, hairy ass.
Like start. You know, just like they can be in stuff like movies and things. And I don't care. Like all that like. DEI bullshit doesn't make sense, but then don't show them that.
No, I agree. Wait for the transition a little bit. It's a little harsh.
That's not a transition. That's a ass in your face. It's
bare
cheeks.
Ass.
Bare cheeks in your face.
Bare cheeks in your face. Bare cheeks. In
your bare cheeks.
That's a real. What was it called? What was the one that you hit us with last week?
Huh?
The shit.
The finger. The shit.
That's another one for you guys.
I didn't want to go back to that, but once I heard it, I was like, damn, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But either way,
a real ponderer right there.
Yeah, I'm a big thinker. I'm one of God's biggest thinkers.
Oh hell yeah, absolutely.
Threw me off. The bear. Whatever, don't show your kid. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. We take real strong stands on this podcast of not showing your kids bare cheeks.
Dude, straight up, yeah. I think that might be top 10 most psychologically traumatizing thing for a child to see your bare cheeks.
Oh yeah. I feel like now going through therapy, like a more, I guess, like looking into past type of therapy.
Okay.
'Cause most of my counseling and stuff beforehand has been more like, hey, yo, how do I stop being like this? Because, you know, I had like bad habits did bad things. Mm-hmm. So now that I got to a point with all that I want to go back and look at things and maybe how that affects me now. And then, like, even though those small little things that maybe happened to me wasn't like a big super traumatic thing,
they add up and shit.
Yeah, it like either added up or it reinforced the big thing that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So then I was like, oh shit, kids. I forget how like malleable a child is.
Yeah, I be forgetting that like regardless of the plain or like boringness of your childhood, like it's still your childhood, so you remember it disgustingly vividly for the most part. Or like it's very impactful. You could be like in a McDonald's, right? And to your parents, they're just like, dude, I'm trying to get back to the crib and pass the fuck out. And to you, it's like the best day of your life or like the best day of your childhood in like remembering or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I think that it like requires a level of understanding that this is an important moment, regardless if it's an important moment for you. And I think that that's why a lot of parents get a lot better at human interaction after they have their child, because it gives you the perspective of empathy in terms of having to put yourself in the position of a child, and a lot of the times that helps heal like someone's inner child, because then they have to reinforce somebody's actual childhood that is actively being lived. So
okay, yeah. I never thought about that, how different like just face value interactions have changed with certain people after they've had kids. But yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
like
it gives you a different perspective. It gives you like a more rounded personality.
Thankfully, it seems like most people
most
do.
People,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Most people. Some people are just straight up retards through and through. But
yeah, just
dumb people having dumb kids,
making
bro.
TikToks and the kids dying.
In her defense, the kid was getting better. Hey, you gotta keep that. You gotta keep the.
Yeah, my bad. I'm too close-minded.
Jehovah ain't gonna be too forgiving once he spots your ass in the afterlife, bro.
The kid?
They didn't name the kid Jehovah.
Huh?
They're Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I heard.
Dude, imagine as a Jehovah's Witness calling Jehovah, bro.
I mean, people name their kid Jesus.
That's
right?
different, though. I think that's different, though.
Why?
You're not naming your kid fucking Yahweh. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean,
you're not naming.
People name their kids Moses.
Do people name their kid Allah? See, people don't name them after the fucking
Muhammad.
That doesn't. Those are prophets.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? I feel like you're allowed to name him after
Jehovah. Oh, God.
Yeah, Jehovah's God.
Oh, my bad. Oh, then okay, my bad. I thought he was just another person. My bad.
Yeah, he definitely goes to my tail ass, bro. Joseph Smith gonna be on your ass bad, bro. All I'm saying, bro.
Man, Joseph Smith.
Joseph Smith gonna beat your ass with them golden tablets, bro.
Fuck him.
Yeah, bro.
He's not. He's not a real one.
I had a couple of Jehovah's Witnesses pull up to the crib. They were pretty chill, bro. I was asking. I know for a fact they gave me wrong information, but
like what?
Cause okay, so
they're like, hey, you can still drink.
No, it's
do
like
cool
that.
shit.
Okay. So I had asked. So there's been a couple of times where there's been like Jehovah's Witnesses outside of college campuses, right? And every time I ask them, they're like, yeah, Jehovah is the only proper name for our like God entity or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like Allah and Yahweh or shit. That's all improper names for Jehovah, right? And then I asked these two dudes. They're like two younger dudes, and I was like, how do they feel about that shit? Or how does your big dog up top feel about that, right?
Yeah.
It was like, he's chill with that shit, and I was like, you sure, doggy? But so I don't know if everybody else is tripping or if the two like 20-year-olds are tripping. But realistically,
I don't know.
I don't know, bro.
Well, I guess that's another bad thing about religion is how like interpretive it is, you know. So I
have a little pamphlet that says that Jehovah is the only proper name. Yeah, I be collecting the pamphlets.
I'm not. I used to.
I'd be like, you know what, twin? Give me all of them.
I'll spread them. Don't worry.
I'll be like, give me one of everything, and there'll be like some dumb shit in the corner that's like, how to live a Jehovah, how to follow Jehovah's teachings as a single mom. I'm like, let me get that one. But yeah.
You ask for all of them and say you're gonna pass them out, and be like, don't worry. On
Jehovah, because I only asked for one of each of them.
On Jehovah, I'll pass them out. You turn around, instantly get striked.
Fucking trip right after I say it.
Yeah.
Fuck,
a tree falls on you. Like
yeah.
something just like...
It's just all bad, bro. It's just all bad.
I mean, if God was able to torment that one guy on the farm by killing his family and ruin his crops,
Dude,
why wouldn't
that
he
shit
just,
is crazy, bro.
why wouldn't he drop some on you?
Bro, the fact that they was really just like, hey, bro, I bet you I could get your boy to backstab your ass. And God was like, nuh-uh, watch this, bro, watch this. I'm gonna backstab him, and he's gonna be a real one.
This is God. This is my strongest soldier.
That shit is crazy, bro. Imagine if my girl was like, yeah, all your homies fake. I'm like, nah, bro, all my homies real as fuck. Watch this, I'm gonna blow up their house. They still gonna be real.
Yeah, it was to that level.
Imagine
watch this.
Imagine if you pull up to the crib, the whole garage is blown up. Just no garage attached to your crib. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, bro. Look, my girl was down at me, bro. I had to prove it wrong. We still chilling, right? Yeah. You'd be like, huh?
That's a great. He didn't talk to him either, though, huh? He just. So I wouldn't even get the. I wouldn't even get the. My bad, bro.
Just be, yeah, I blew that shit up, twin.
And that's it.
Nah, but no, I think he did talk to him. I'm not 100% sure. I think if he did talk to him, it was definitely like, hey, twin, you gotta stay real, twin. You gotta believe in me, twin. This is all.
He's like, don't worry.
This is all part of the bigger picture, twin.
This is it's all part of my plan.
I just pull up to you and I'm like, hey, Anthony, you don't see the vision right now, but my girl, she gonna be fucking with me after this one. So your girl.
I don't know. To win an argument, I think I'd let you. I think
to win an argument, you would let me.
Hey, remember, it's us against them.
Oh, that's crazy.
Women always forget.
You gonna be posing up in front of the blown up garage like this? Mm-hmm. Fuck, man.
I'm gonna just send a picture like to her directly saying he freed up a lot of space. That's it.
It's a new open concept to the home.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
We were planning on taking this down.
There's a lot of time.
Yeah. The garage full of shit. And the breaker box.
I'm an IED your breaker box, bro.
No, well, but
it looks like a 12-pound explosive was placed in your IED in your breaker box.
In the breaker.
It just looks like the explosion was directed from the breaker box.
Nothing else. I do want to circle back to your girlfriend saying being gay is gay.
Oh yeah, well okay, so okay, well I don't know. I was gonna say I don't know if this is exposing her, but it's really not. So all high school, she was repping being gay, right? At least to me, you feel me?
She?
That's what I'm saying. And then all of a sudden, she pops out after this latest us hooking back up. You feel me? After our latest chit chatting or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she's like, and I'm like, I think she called me gay or some shit. And I was like, bro, what are you talking about right now? And I was like, you're gay as fuck. And she was like, no, bro, I'm straight as hell. And now she's ride or die about being straight, right? But I think she's pulling out the same stunt as I was pulling in my workplace where people kept harassing me about being gay. And I was like, no, I'm straight.
Okay.
So I don't think she's actually straight, but she's just been shitting on me for being gay. She'll just be like, you're acting really gay right now. And I'm just like,
no, yeah, okay, I think that it sounds like that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you really didn't like that, you wouldn't even call your other person gay.
No, yeah, that is true, but, yeah.
That's fair. That's pretty funny,
yeah,
though.
my girl been mad homophobic.
No, she's doing what you said. She's balancing it out. It's Pride Month. She doesn't want you to get too strong.
Hey, okay. You know, maybe we are on the same page.
Maybe she's like me a little too much.
Yeah, maybe. Damn. Just connect the dots I didn't know I needed to connect, Anthony.
Yeah, you're welcome. Like I said, I'm God's biggest thinker.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I really get into my twisted mind.
Oh, dude, I went to Goodwill and I found a Guy Fieri beanie.
Beanie?
Guy Fieri beanie. You know the flames?
Yeah.
All on a beanie. Black beanie, red flame.
You're stacking up for winter. You got your spider beanie back.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Life's good right now, bro. Life's good right now. In terms of the beanie front, I got... You feel me? I don't know about everything else. You feel me? It could all go down to the shitter real quick. But in terms of beanies, boy, I'm stocked up.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it being Pride Month? Do you feel more prideful or what?
Nah, not really. If anything, I'm feeling at my least prideful because I'm currently technically unemployed. You feel me? Because
You're failing the game.
Yeah, my employment failed 8 hours ago. I'm sorry, 2 hours. Like not even. What time is it right now? My employment was over probably like give or take 45 minutes ago.
Okay.
So yeah, I feel like as a gay man, you gotta have hella bread and you gotta have good skin. And right now, I'm failing on both fronts pretty miserably. So yeah, we getting there. All I'm saying is, if I can I hope to God this man gives me this goddamn job. You feel me? Cause if I get that 20 an hour, you feel me? I'm gonna be straight up living my best gay life, and by that I mean I'm gonna actually be able to afford the Target skincare products and actually lock the fuck in.
Just start ordering from Korean websites.
Well, ordering from Korean websites requires a steady income that I currently, I guess technically speaking, I still have that current income because I'm still getting the next 2 weeks. You feel me?
Okay.
So technically, I do have current income, but I don't know if I should get on if I should start ordering. I dropped I dropped $1.49 on that Guy Fieri beanie. So, I think I'm being reserved. You feel me?
Okay, you know what? That's fair.
That's
you
what
know,
I'm saying.
You
I saw that shit and I was like,
you put on better things.
That's what I'm saying.
For now.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
I guess. Is that so? Being gay is having your bread up.
Ideally, it's having your bread up, live in some corporate capacity. Like I feel like very rarely you see gay men actually doing like manual labor, and when you do see them, they're like bears.
Okay.
So
that's fair. I think.
I
don't know. I'm still new to this. I don't know.
If you consider yourself a bear, I think you gotta be at least 6 foot, bro. I don't think you could be a bear if you under 6 foot. So I don't think I consider myself a bear.
What they call them, like otters.
You sure you new to this, bro? I think you a little too on top of the lingo thus far.
I mean,
my favorite thing thus far has been my girl getting mad at me for knowing women things. Like, what was it? I think it was like Alibaba and Shein.
Yeah.
You feel me? I was like, what you were?
Are those just Chinese websites?
Yeah, but
why is that a girl thing?
Because they be getting a lot of cheap shit off of there in terms of like they'll get like fake Uggs and like fucking fake bags and shit. You feel me? And she ordered some shit and I looked at it and I was like, you get them bitches off of Shein? She was like, no, I'm sorry. I was like, you get them bitches off of Alibaba? And she was like, you know I've been using Shein. And we got into so I got into a little beef off of that. Yeah.
Only real girlies support the CCP.
Bro. I don't even think you get away from not supporting it at this point. I think we're basically gonna start living in our own CCP, and I prefer a Chinese CCP at least. They be having at least they're less gay, bro.
So, my girl's been real homophobic, but I sure do has been more homophobic. But I sure do hope we're not gay.
Yeah. Plus they're winning on the furry front too, bro. So,
oh yeah, they're
yeah. The Chinese furries are a lot more locked in. My girl today said, "We're not gonna have no weird kid. My child ain't gonna be a furry. A furry, gay, or
a weird kid." And the second thing is gay.
To be fair, she did start off with furry. So
no,
I'm sorry. She didn't even say that. The whole conversation, she was like, "My child's gonna be an athlete," and then I was like, "What?" And she was like, "He's gonna play soccer," and I was like, "You're gonna be gay?" Right?
Yeah. Yeah, if y'all have kids, I think that's gonna be the quickest way he finds out if he is or isn't.
Yeah, so I was like, what? Is he gonna play soccer? He's gonna be gay? And she was like, my child ain't gonna be weird. He's not gonna be furry, gay, or something else, right? And then we got into discussion of like, she was like, I was like, yeah. No, I said he, right? And then she was like, oh, what tells you it's gonna be a he, right? And I was like, I would like for it to be a he. I would like to be a boy dad, but I know for a fact the universe isn't gonna give me a boy. I'm definitely gonna be a girl dad. I just feel it in my soul, bro. And I'm not happy about it.
Why? These girls are weird.
Yeah, girls are yucky. They got cooties, bro. I'm not trying to deal with that shit. Nah, cause I just feel like if my daughter gets my women genetics from my side of the family, she's gonna be problematic, bro. He's just a terrible human being, bro. Fuck you.
I hope it didn't pick it.
Anyways, I know she's gonna be problematic, bruh. Cause especially if I'm raising her, bruh.
Nah, you just
My emotional capacity is dog shit, and then my only form of affection is talking shit, and like, bruh, that's never a good combo. Just make a mean butch lesbian.
Hey, like that sounds pretty cool.
Well, yeah, actually,
That's a boy.
yeah, that's a boy. Technically speaking, I am getting what I wanted. You feel me? I'm gonna make her play like. I'm
It'll
gonna
just
make
be
her
the
play.
long run.
I'm gonna make her play like a rugby or some shit. I'm gonna have like a rugby lesbian daughter. That'd be lit.
Yeah, she'd be like extra manly too. She'd be like, "Hey, Dad, you see the jugs on that one?" and like cup check you.
Oh my god, the joy that would bring me as a human being. Genuinely, that would complete a part of me that I didn't know needed to be completed.
Honestly, sometimes I feel like lesbians are just cooler dudes.
I agree. They're just cause like it's like a man can't be honestly cool without being a little gay, and somehow a lesbian is the complete opposite of that because they are already fundamentally so gay that they have to be straighter to become cooler. You feel me? Like a male's equivalent of becoming cooler is chasing femininity, and thus the women version of that is chasing masculinity.
Yeah.
So you're right. They are just like the coolest dude imaginable because they are specifically chasing masculinity.
Well, we did it Pride Month. We saw your
solved
coolest
the mystery,
member for this episode. We're gonna rank the gays.
Yeah.
S tier lesbian.
No, yeah, definitely. Okay, no, actually, let's rate this. At this point, we're a part of the community. We can't do it. We can't do it.
I mean, I'm still pretty new.
Ah, well, fuck off.
Fine. All right, I'll be part of it.
All right,
I guess.
okay. So we're starting off S tier, right?
Yeah.
S tier.
What are the S tier
lesbians.
gays?
Okay. S tier. We're gonna go into types of. We're gonna go into types of gays. So we're gonna go S tier. It's gonna be butch lesbians.
Okay, I'm fine with
Butch
that.
lesbians. Another S tier, bear gays. Most of the time, bear gays are pretty chill.
Yeah, they're cool.
They're pretty cool because they're masculine and they're also gay. So they got the best of both worlds. You feel me? It's a masculine dude that's not afraid of femininity.
Yeah.
What's the third?
Does that mean bis are up there? Like bi dudes?
No, we gotta go a little lower, bro. I don't think bi men is a majority. I don't think.
I don't want to put us up there.
No, yeah, I don't.
Oh, as a majority?
Yeah, you have to take as a majority.
Yeah.
The majority of
true.
butch lesbians I've met are really cool. The majority of bear gays that I've met are pretty cool. The majority, let's see, what's another S tier?
Another S tier? Femboys.
I get behind that. No, I can't get behind that.
What's wrong with femboys? They're gay, right? I don't think I ever stopped to ask, like, if they just like dressing like that or they're gay.
Well, no, some of them aren't. That's the crazy part. Some of them aren't.
Because some people just like to
some are
it's like drag,
cross-dressers.
right?
Yeah, some of them are cross-dressers. But the majority of drag queens are gay, fundamentally. I don't think femboys fall into S, bro.
No. Well, what's the big flaw?
The big flaw, I think, the amount of, because okay, so I think femboy is a very hyper niche aesthetic of gay. You feel me? Okay. And as a result of that, I think that there are a lot of examples of femboyism being done terribly wrong.
I think that's fair. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what
like
I'm saying?
they're
either
not,
fucking no. I get you. Some of them are S tier.
Yeah.
But
okay. Yeah.
let's be honest. As a majority,
okay.
some of them bring down the target range very drastically low. You feel me?
Yeah. Okay. I feel that.
Okay.
I feel like they're like cool or like, but then there's a lot of like just they are. I think that aspect of being niche is hard because then there could be like. They could be so what is it like uppity? No, not uppity. Like damn, I can't think of the word. Like
Exclusiveness or like
like they put themselves up too. You know.
Classism.
Yeah,
I get you. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah, I just think I agree with that, but I think to me fundamentally it's just the inability to properly harness the energy that is what the desired target is for
like,
femboy. Like they're reaching an aesthetic that some of them very much reach, some of them very much don't, and as a result, the whole class of femboy is now dragged down. It's like when you average a class and there's just some retard in the corner and he just brings that whole down.
You know what? Yeah, I get that. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, that's very fair.
So as a result,
they're
you
not
might place them. Okay, here's the thing though: are we placing them A or B?
I mean, when you bring that up, I feel like
because I don't want. They're not C for sure. They're not C.
They're not C.
But that's the struggle: A or B.
When you bring that into mind, like the like really bad ones and how bad it can get, I'm gonna say B.
Thank you. Okay, I didn't want to say it, you know, because you had brought them up as S. So I was like, I didn't want to fundamentally fuck with your perception of femboys.
Well, I was going to like the first thing that comes to mind, because like you said, like the best ones are S tier, so that's why it came to mind for S tier.
Agreed. Okay. All right, so now that we're fundamentally in B tier for femboys, all right, let's see here. I think we're pretty much. I think S tier is straight up just butch lesbians and bare. You know what's crazy about that? Those are technically, in essence, the least attractive in all cohesion. You feel me? Like those are cohesively. Like if you take everything into consideration, a lot of the times they're not the most attractive people, but personality wise, they bring the most to the table.
I mean, yeah, it's very fair. That's why I did my best to be funny, because I was a big annoying kid.
That's fair. So, all right, so now we're going. I think it's better instead of ranking it in terms of like going tier by tier. We just throw out types of stereotypes and rank them.
Then rank them. Yeah, okay, that's fair. Because I really can't think of any other S.
Yeah.
Like I said, it just came to mind, so I was throwing it out there. All right, next one.
I'm going. Oh, if you want.
I was gonna say twink.
Yeah, yeah, twink. I'm gonna go C tier. Twinks are C to me because of the amount of bitchy twinks I've met.
Oh, they're sassy.
They
remind me of like drag queens. They are sassy.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think that a lot of them hide behind being a twink in terms of the body aesthetic that is being a twink, which is just being a very small, skinny man. You feel me? And that doesn't necessarily correlate with attraction in terms of A, attraction, and B, personality. You feel me? You're just a skinny man.
Yeah.
Like you're just pretty. No, I'm sorry, a hairless skinny man.
Yeah,
essentially.
Like they're hiding behind like I'm so small.
Yeah, I'm so small and hairless, basically. But a lot of the times, A, they're not attractive, and B, they have a dog shit personality because, like you said, they're just so goddamn sassy. But they're like all the negatives of the sass that is associated with black women with none of the positives that is black women.
I remember one time Chloe is like, how come the gays appropriate
black culture? Yes, they do that.
I'm sure. I remember she brought up like a TikTok about it. That wasn't like her own thing. I don't want to throw up under the bus.
I've heard that before. I think it was a comedian that said that.
Yeah, but shit, I'm not gonna put him in D then. Okay, are we going all the way down to F?
No, here's what I'm saying. C. Here's what. Yeah, we're going all the way down to
F.
I
meant like the range is.
Yeah, we're going S to F. Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Here's why I put them in C. Because the majority of twink men, right, that aren't straight up, because we have to take the whole encapsulation, right? Mm-hmm. The majority of stereotypical gay men, right, are twinks, and as a result, they make up the majority of the stereotype that is being a gay man, and thus it was the thing that I was saying, which is like you gotta get your bread up and you have to have good skin. Mm-hmm. So a lot of twinks got their bread up, have really good skin, be dressing like business casual. Like that is the bummiest you'll see them in is business casual. You feel me? So in terms of social elevation, they're holding themselves up very high. You feel me?
Socially, but then like the face of them being so sassy, you don't think that has negative repercussions to the community of gays?
It does, but it's also like. Can you really talk shit about a man that has his bread up, dresses in business casual, and then is also eating at like a fancy restaurant every day? He won capitalism, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
The guy won capitalism. You feel me?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that there is still that aspect to respect. Yeah, I'm good with C.
You feel me?
Yeah, they're like middle of the road, like
no matter what they're doing, they're at some they're at some bougie restaurant and they're wearing business casual. You feel me?
Yeah, and you know what? And they rock it because they know how to dress themselves.
That's what I'm saying. Don't get me wrong. That they have their cons. That's why they're in C. But I can't put them that much lower because they're holding themselves up very well.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay. Let's see here. Hey Mama's Lesbians.
What?
Hey Mama's Lesbians. You know what those are?
Nah. What's that?
Hey
I'll look it up, but
Hey
you can
Mama's
explain
Lesbians
it.
are the types of lesbians that are wear like snapbacks. Most of the time, they're white women, right? That'll associate with like black women or like Latino women, and they're very much just like very like douche like early 2016, early 2015 douchebag.
Oh, it's like
they've appropriated the culture that is frat male.
Okay. I feel like
they'll have like they'll have the ponytail, but this will be cut type shit. You know?
I don't think I've ever really met or seen any like that, but from the vibe I can get, I feel like it seems like a step down from butch lesbian because they're forcing the coolness too much.
Yes.
So I don't
Butch
know.
lesbians embody Guy Fieri somehow.
Yeah. Okay. Then I would probably put that from just a face value. I want to say B because I don't.
Okay, now you put them in B, right?
Yeah.
Let me show you something that might change your mind a little.
It's just gonna be a TikTok.
Yeah.
They're gonna say the N word. I'm like S. They're not afraid.
Nah, hold on.
So you want them at A?
What's up?
So you want them at A?
No, you're gonna
you're gonna put them down.
Yeah, you're gonna demote them. I'm not gonna lie to you, but fuck, man.
Well, the only reason why, I guess, I would not put them lower at a face value is because they still kind of encapsulate what you said about like trying to reach masculinity. It's just forced, and I think that definitely takes away from anything if you're trying to force this like this aesthetic or like the way you hold yourself. So, but at the same time, they still are reaching something that like, I mean, it's fair for them to want if they're a lesbian, you know, like they don't want to be girly or whatever.
Oh, okay. I didn't think of that. You feel me? It is still it is ultimately just a strive for.
They're just going about it like not the best way, is what it sounds like.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm new. I don't know.
Okay, so like,
I just got here.
This is very much the aesthetic of a Hey Mama's Lesbian.
Yeah, that's why. Like, when you think about like a frat guy that dresses like that, most of the time they might not be like the best person, but you'll probably have a good time with them regardless. You know?
Okay. You're giving me a new perspective on Hey Mama's Lesbians right now.
You're ready to hate?
The internet hates the Hey Mama's Lesbians for the most
I can
part.
see why, because it's forced. Like, people hate forcedness. They want some real, like a butch lesbian or a fucking bear.
Yeah,
you know?
you're right.
Like, something that is just there. They don't complicate it. And that's it.
Right
so that's why I say B. I'm down to bring it down to C. I don't know what you were thinking
No.
initially.
The shit you saying is spitting right now. It's an attempt, and like it's not the best attempt, but ultimately it is an attempt to appropriate frat culture in a lesbian way, which is relatively sick. Yeah. Frat culture is by no means not sick.
Yeah, like sick in the sense of like yeah. I get what you mean. And they're probably fucking not drugging as many girls at college parties.
That is true. They have a lot more assault charges though. They be swinging on them bitches.
Okay, I'm down for a C. Were you thinking like
there's
B?
a lot of cases of like domestic abuse, and it's always a Hey Mama's Lesbian.
I don't know why, but like not recently, but for a minute I kept getting like reels about like women talking about like getting abused or something
by other women.
Yeah, or like it was like hinting at that, or no, I think it was like just abuse in general. And then like people in the comments was like, "Shit, as a lesbian, I know what it's like." And I was like, "What the fuck?" I was so like, it was so common to see in the comments.
I have some crazy shit that I'm gonna tell you after the podcast, and I think that it's cool to say shit like that just because like like, I might say it in the very, very future in the podcast. You feel me? But I have some crazy shit that's in association to like a lesbian couple, like the drama that comes out of lesbian relationships.
Yeah.
That is straight up just gnarly. It's just you're just like.
Well, okay, then if that's the case with them, because maybe they are like putting up a front, so that makes them more aggressive. Then yeah, I'm down for a C. I don't know what you were thinking. Were you thinking like D or F initially?
Yeah, initially, but the points you made inclined me toward like a B, right? But now that I'm bringing up
that you remember how bad it gets.
I remember how much like there's so many like examples of like social media where it'll be like a hey mama's lesbian that like ends up meeting like a very small like petite girl, right? And it's just always ends in an abuse charge somehow. It's always like she held me down and screamed at. It's always the craziest shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
But again, since we're taking a majority look,
we're
then
going
maybe
C. We're going C.
I think C is fair. Let's see. What's another type of trans people?
There's so many different types of trans people though.
There really there's so many. Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna break it down. You feel me? Okay, so we'll go female to male.
Oh, okay, so those are separate categories.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go female to male, but like in between.
So we're starting with female to male.
Yeah, we're going female to male. Most part, I think D.
Why?
I think D.
Why? That was so low, so fast.
Here's why.
Man, stop hitting the fucking table.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, I'm gonna okay, here's why.
I get real rowdy.
So, get a couple of white guys and get a little transphobic in the room.
Just stay a man.
No,
you look good as a man.
No, here's the thing. No, it's female to male. So
I heard male to female.
No. This first one is female to male.
Okay.
Here's why. I think a lot of the times the female to male trans aesthetic, while there's beautiful examples of it where like they very much appropriate masculinity and they build into masculinity as a whole.
Yeah.
A lot of the times they just turn out to being like weird like art like furry people. And, like, there's no disrespect in being, like, a furry human being or being, like, into that kind of niche aesthetic of the internet where it's, like, fandoms and all that. Well, it's not even fandom. It's just, like, a lot of the times they're fucking furries for some reason. I don't know what it is between female to male transition. There's just so many fucking furries in that community. And it's just, like...
Well, I think that comes because they're probably furries first because from, like, what I've seen or heard through, like... certain media and things like that the reason people have fursonas is because it's like an extra layer for them to
feel comfortable.
To feel comfortable and like show their true self, you know, in quotes, through some other medium, which is like the fursona or like this idea that they can apply things that they don't feel confident enough to apply to themselves. So it makes sense for them to also be transgender because maybe they had all these pent-up feelings of not feeling like themselves and put it into something else. And then eventually they either have the means or feel confident enough to start making the transition.
That is very true.
Which, you know, might not be the case all the time, might not be even remotely true. But that, from what I've heard, might make sense because, you know, they start off as like putting all they can into this. And then they eventually say like, oh, I'm actually just trans, and then they keep the fursona because, you know, they've already had it.
That's
you know,
fair.
it's there.
Yeah, I guess I haven't really thought of it like that. Like I was saying earlier,
So you just think they're weird or what?
No, it's not even that they're weird. It's just like...
Hold on.
Ew! You dead? Oh. Fucking bastard. Get... I'm picking up a bug.
Yeah, Rob's picking up a bug, so for a moment, he's gonna throw the bug at the Mustang. Nope, he threw the bug into the next yard over. Hey, let us know in the comments below what you think about bugs. Anyways,
it was a flying beetle, and it was gonna make more noise when it started clacking into shit. It's one of those loud ass ones, so I just yeeted his ass into the oblivion.
That's fair.
What were they saying?
So yeah, so why'd you?
So here's the thing, right? I guess the reason that they're D tier to me is the same way that butch lesbians are an A tier to me. You feel me? they have encapsulated the male essence in terms of chasing masculinity so well because they've mixed the two areas of their lives.
Yeah.
It's just like they either full blown go incel or they're just like buff gym dudes. And like if you're a buff gym dude, fucking lit. You feel me? Like a lot of times you'll see like trans, like female to male trans. It'll just be like the buffest gym dude you've ever seen, right? With no nipples because they get like the breast removal thing.
Yeah.
Right. So it'll just be the most buff human being you've ever seen in your entire life, and they're also like 5'4". Yeah. That's like 5'4", no nipples. They're the most shredded human being ever, and they're like, oh wait, they're just super masculine. Like, I wake up at 4:50 a.m. Like they're just on your dick crazy. Like I'll beat your goddamn ass, and I'm like, you're cool for the same reason like a super masculine male is cool. You feel me? Like yeah you're awesome in that regard.
But then the incel part,
they just full on incel. It's just furry incel,
right,
and it's like
this is where I'm gonna fight you back for the incel part is because I feel like a lot of online incels are like that way because they might not be trying enough in their own life, you know, like maybe there's something lacking that they feel like they just feel bad about maybe their life in some way, so they turn to that thing. But if you're going from female to male, you're also thrown into a whole new world. I feel like a lot of people forget that like this transition also takes a lot of social aspects. Yeah. Like things start to develop in your social life because of it.
No, yeah, and as a result, I think that a lot of people don't take into consideration the alteration in interacting with the world in difference to being a female versus a male. Like, you know, I think a lot of the times it'll be like kind of like the industry that's like, hey, you have to be like a masculine male, and this is what like alpha male, that whole kind of industry, that ends up reaching a point in men, or reaching like or striking a note in men that's like a lot of male validation is earned. It's like a lot of male love is in relation to capacity for doing shit. Like,
okay,
I think that a lot of the times, like, regardless of like, a lot of love for male is conditional. I think it's like regardless of whether or not it's like, at least for me, I'll give a personal example, like the whole mother-son bond being unconditional, right? Like that's really not true. Like if you're not like running errands for your mama, or like really like addressing her needs that she has bestowed upon you as her child, then like she's gonna be mad at you. You feel me? And like it's like at the end of the day, responsibilities are still bestowed upon males, and that's not to say that responsibilities aren't bestowed upon females, you feel me? But I think that there's a larger difference in interpreted capacity for doing shit, you feel me? Like a lot of the times it's like, even if like for example, a lot of like Latina females will talk about like having their mother cater to their sons, you feel me? They'll be like, oh yeah, she'll serve his ass a meal, but she won't serve me a meal. She'll make me clean the kitchen or whatever, you feel me? But at the same time, that same Latina mother is expecting like her son to like be able to like
earn
build
for the family or whatever.
Earn for a family, or at least build his own family if he doesn't give a fuck about his current family, you feel me? So it's like,
yeah, but then, well, that's fair.
But here's the thing though. When that isn't expected out of a male, a lot of the times those same people that isn't expected of turn into incels. You feel me?
Yeah, I think that's where the unhappiness comes from.
Exactly. I think that as a male, you feel me? I won't pretend like I have the thing fucking figured out. You feel me? I'm still a fucking child in the grand scheme of things. But, you feel me? I think a lot of the whole male self-validation is intertwined with fucking doing shit. Because I'll be the first to say, like, if I got nothing, like, literally nothing planned in my schedule, bro, I turn into a fucking slob. You feel me?
Yeah.
Just because at the end of the day, like, I don't know if it's the same thing for females, because I don't have a fucking female genitalia and female anatomy, but the male form is ultimately a lot of like our like interactions with the world are like instinctual or like desire driven for the most part, and the only thing that really addresses that in most men is like, hey, this is what I want for my future, and this is the only thing, the only way I'm gonna achieve this is if I stick to it.
Yeah, I think that's fair, but
Or like structure, I should say.
yeah. But then when you get down to that, I feel like you also have to consideration like all the nurture part of how you're grown, because I think while it's fair for you to feel that like a majority might feel transactional, you also have to think about maybe the person who did get like unconditional love and how maybe their life is very different from that. Well, while there is a sense of wanting to do things because it feels good and being productive just like chemically feels good, you also have to remember that like we were especially reinforced for that to feel good. You know, like it was hammered into us that doing things feel good because you are providing something for someone else and maybe even yourself. Like it's a dual thing versus while like being productive just for yourself.
No, yeah, that does make a lot of sense, and it's like especially I guess it's like a nicher thing in terms of like the reward from being productive that we get specifically because we have been so fundamentally raised around productivity.
Yeah.
But I also think that in a lot of just present, like just like what I have seen as an individual,
Yeah.
expectation is the only thing that a lot of males respond to. Like,
Okay.
A desire or B expectation, because some males are specifically driven by desire in terms of like, let's say someone who wants like a fucking Bugatti and is like willing to murder somebody about it. You
Okay.
feel me? That's
Yeah.
straight desire. A lot of other males are driven by straight up expectation. It's like, look, bro, if I don't get my bread from my family, woo, they gonna think this, they gonna think that.
Yeah.
And like a lot of males are straight up driven to success because of that, because they've just like been so fundamentally hammered and you're not enough that literally nothing is enough to them. So now they're just like fucking building on building on building on building.
Yeah, the billionaires who are like, hey, $1 billion is enough. I'm trying to get to $1 trillion.
Exactly.
But
And
so do you feel like that's what knocks them down? Because
yes, and here's what I'm building. I was building up this whole thing because as a female, don't get me wrong, I have met a ton of hyper competitive women. Like my mama, for example, she's like a very much just like a straight up do what I'm like. She's like how should I say this? She's like a hyper strict woman on herself. You feel me?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's like, so there are women who are like, who see goals in themselves and then are willing to address them, and they're just like harpies in that fucking single direction, and they're like everybody else. Yeah, like that's the human thing.
They got the tunnel vision. She definitely has the tunnel vision.
Exactly. You feel me? But I think it's a lot more common for men to have that tunnel vision mentality. You feel me?
Yeah.
And as a lot and my whole foundation in building the whole transactional love relationship is a lot of the times it'll be like it'll be like a father figure catering to his daughter, you feel me, or it'll be like a family catering to like a younger daughter, or like it's just like I don't think that the transactional interaction is as fundamentally established in the female dynamic.
Yeah.
So when women are faced with the expectation that comes around being a male, which at a certain point in your transition, you are closer associated to a male than you are to a female. When you get into that weird niche and you end up realizing that like you're falling into like
that you're being forced upon with these other societal norms.
You end up associating with that like that incel mentality because it is closer to the mentality that you currently inhabit.
Mm-hmm.
So like
I get it, like that what they end up being isn't good, but at the same time, like how much of that can you fault them for? Like even with us, like if we try to make some kind of transition and then we keep that mentality through and through, then how much of that is like should we blame ourselves for? You know, like I understand knocking them down a bit because of it, but at the same time, I think that if not all of them are going to that, then that is points to be given to them.
I agree. But
man, you said D. I'm not giving them D. I am not giving any trans person D because they have to change so much about themselves to feel like who they are. Whether or not like you agree to that, they are still going through so many different levels to maybe achieve what they want. You know? And that's a struggle in itself.
Are you going C then?
I would go B.
You would go B?
I would go B.
But you have to think about the final product in terms of what they are ultimately becoming. You feel me? And yes, that is a very objective view.
But the thing is, you're also blaming, like, giving them anything lower than, well, giving them a low rating means that you're blaming them versus remembering what we have created in a societal sense. You know, like if we're, you know, like even the system that we have for ourselves isn't also the best system to have for men.
But just to play devil's advocate, right?
Yeah.
Just to play devil's advocate. At a certain point, it becomes a what are you offering to society type of thing. You feel me? Like, don't get me wrong. Yes, the perspective on you are a living being is important because yes, you are entitled to your own being. You feel me?
Yeah.
But it's also like measured up against the offerings of a whole society. You feel me?
Yeah.
And let's say you like. Don't get me wrong. There are like the straight up hyper masculine or hyper achieving where they're like fucking buff and they're doing their whole shebang.
Yeah, like.
But it's just the sheer amount that I am seeing, like the outweighing. You feel me? And like, I'm a one perspective that's interpreting one perspective. Yeah. But from what I'm seeing, bro, like if you compare them like to fucking twinks, you feel me, in terms of their social achievement.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They're not achieving that. Like, okay, I'll give you they're not a D, you feel me? Maybe the D is just like a very niche my bias, you feel me?
Yeah, like because technically
of that
you still have to look at them
bias.
As a man.
Yeah, exactly. You have to look at them you have to look at them as a man because that is what they want.
Yeah.
So to me they would be a D, but I will agree that they're not a D in the general perspective. You have to take different perspectives, so they're a C. Would you agree to a C? Because you have to look at them as a man.
Yeah. Well, I'm fine with a man with a C only because I think that even if you it's because I will, you know what? I think a C is good because I don't think if other people are failed by a system that it should be excused.
Exactly.
So I think that's very fair. A C.
That's what I'm saying.
But I just didn't want that D because there is so much other change that they're willing to give in and like adapt to that it is commendable.
Yeah,
like
it's a new world.
Is very,
it's like a sacrifice of being.
Yeah,
I agree.
You're definitely sacrificing so much.
But that I agree with that interpretation where it's like if I'm a fucking bum, you can't really blame me for being a bum if someone's a fucking millionaire and they've self-earned that million. You feel me? It's just like, look, I don't expect you to be a millionaire, but dog, don't be shitting on this lack of love you're getting.
Yeah, I'm more than good with a C. So then what about male to female?
Male to female. I'm going B. I'm going above male to female. I'm going above female to male because even at the worst, even at like the worst that I've seen.
You've never seen femcells?
No. I have. Well, I have seen femcells, but the majority of femcells are straight up just women.
Yeah.
They're not like female. They're not trans. And here's why. Because the whole transsexual thing. Look, I apologize if tranny is an offensive term, but I'm gonna say tranny. I'm. As a gay man, I'm not hating on you, bruh. I'm not hating on you.
Sadly, it is just what we've heard.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you a tranny, bro. That's all love. But the whole tranny thing is, right, even at their worst, right, where it's like some fucking weird 50-year-old dude who's like being like a cross-dresser and just kind of being horny and weird.
Yeah.
He's still busting his nut, and that's what he wants. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the thing that I guess I dislike about the whole like female to male thing and it being an incel thing is like that they're complaining. You feel me?
Okay.
And
they end up in a place that like
they're like, I deserve more, and it's just like, bro,
okay.
Really? But here's the thing: even those creepy, weird, fucked up men that are straight up just like dressing in pantyhose and wearing high heels, there's still some fucked up dude that's just giving them dick.
Yeah.
So they're still getting their end product.
Yeah.
So, because we have to take the whole encapsulation of everything that is transsexual, right? That is male to female transsexual, right?
I think
Some of them, it's the same thing with the femboys.
Yeah.
Some of them are doing a dog shit job, bro. Some of them are like teetering on like straight up being a straight male who is again just putting on pantyhose and getting fucked.
Yeah.
So it's just like a lot of it is fetishized, and as a result of that, I'm not fucking with it on that same level. You feel me? So I'm putting it at a B. I'm not putting it at an A. I'm putting it at a B.
I'm more than fine with a B. I feel like, I think a lot of those bad situations come from a lack of support. I think that because it's so new and it's such a different area, I wanted to give them more support. Like from a D to a C is fine. Because, I mean, like you said, like, even if they're ending up in a bad place, bad place
is what they want. Like,
well, it's
chilling.
not excusable. It's not excusable is what I'm trying to say.
But
like,
they're still getting joy out of that bad place is what I'm saying.
Yeah. That's why I say it's not excusable. That's why, like, if you don't want to put them at an A, it's more than fair because they shouldn't even be there. But what I'm trying to say is that with that's why I wanted to move them up, because a lack of support means a lot of bad things for who you are or who you become, especially if you're trying to transition this big of a thing, you know, like changing who you are fundamentally, because like sex and gender is such a big like thing that people harp on, that societally you are not going to get the sufficient support because you are making that transition. You know, with my cousin, you know, I think one great thing I saw in her state was that, like, it might have been not the best intention, but it still developed great results, because she had to go through sessions of therapy before making her transition. And I think that is very good. Whether or not it was
that critical thinking.
Yeah, well, yeah. Whether or not that like therapy was like maybe supportive or not might affect like what their intention was with the state, but in the end, getting this extra support on the side to help you transition into your new life is really important. And while that's true in her state, I don't know what it's like with everyone else. That's why it's more than fair. That's why I think it makes sense if they end up as an incel. So I didn't want them to just be straight brought down because, you know, maybe they just didn't have the proper support. While it's not okay, the same thing with normal incels. I don't think it's fine where they're at. Like, I don't think that's good. But there is some kind of system that failed them. You know, the same thing with school shooters, the same thing with, like, all these horrible people that ended up in a bad place. The systems might have failed them, but that will never excuse what they ended up at.
See, and this is why you're the thinker of this podcast, because you're looking at it from like a much more critical analysis, and I'm straight up looking at it from like
yeah, you're vibe checking.
Yeah, like I might be a hedonist or whatever, but all I care about ultimately is the joy that you get out of this life. Like, look, bro, if you're like a cannibal and you're like eating people, I'm probably like you deserve to get shot, bro. But I'm not gonna argue for your life, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're like, look, bro, I'm a hedonist in the sense of like, look, bro, if like your 50-year-old dad straight up divorces your mom and his new passion is putting on pantyhose and getting fucked, and that genuinely fulfills his full life sentence, then like, bro, fuck it. He's getting happy, you feel me? And that's what I care about. That's ultimately what I care about. And like, that's why I put female to male lower than I put male to female.
Yeah, because you see less progress in their transition.
Exactly, because like ultimately they're in a position where they don't want to be at, and they're still unhappy, bro. But even the most fucked up tranny is still happy in some weird fucked up way.
That's very
big ups, bro.
Yeah, I think another reason is just like how little like people like. It again, it's very new, so it makes sense that the highs and lows are so extreme, you know.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
So like it makes sense.
It all narrows out in the end.
Yeah, we can just put them in the middle because right now we just don't know enough.
Yeah.
So that's more unfair.
And that's why like the middle class exists in capitalism, because it was straight up kings and servants. At a certain point, just kind of the median just gets there.
Yeah, eventually, once enough people come out, eventually as more people transition, we'll probably get a better sense of like who they are, and either way, they're just gonna end up being normal people.
And there's some weird hope in that single perspective in terms of a global analysis, just because, like, look, bro, there might be highs and extremes and lows and tops, you feel me? Like, look, bro, I personally think I refuse to believe that the last nukes have dropped, bro.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's very fair.
I think we're going to get into some straight up shit show, either middle of our lives or later of our lives.
Yeah.
I think, like, we're going to be, like, 40 or... No, I think we're going to be, like, 30 to 50 around that range, right? And some bullshit is going to happen. Some straight up just dog shit is going to happen.
Honestly, I'm down for this to be a longer episode. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
I'm
Let's
chatting,
continue.
Bro.
I think that was a very good discussion on like maybe the vibes.
Okay, well,
versus...
last one.
No, fuck no, last one. I'm saying, do you want it to be longer? We can.
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying.
So
no.
then we can kind of power through the rest of it.
No, I can add another 30 easy to this.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
but here's what I'm saying.
next?
I'm saying last one in terms of last class of people, right? I'm gonna get back to the nuke thing right now, but last class of gay. No, last class of gay.
No, that's what. No, like that's what I'm saying. Like we can keep going with the gay thing.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm down to keep ranking gays.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's your next gay?
Asexual gay.
I was about to say the same shit.
That's
all right.
what I'm saying. Asexual gay.
So.
Okay.
I'm down for C. C or B? Thank you, Siri.
She agreed. I'm going
B.
I'm going B
yeah.
just surely because asexualism is very much like I feel like it's the same thing as
They're just chill.
Yeah,
they're
just
themselves,
chill.
and that's it.
And it's very much the same vibe as someone being like, I'm gonna take a abstinence in a relationship or something.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay.
Yeah, you're like, all right.
You're just like, yeah, bro, if you want to opt out of sex as a human being, that honestly takes some willpower. It's like the same thing as when you hear your neighbor, or like, not when you hear your neighbor, like, let's say you go to work at like 5 a.m., right? And you see your neighbor, like, coming back home from a jog at 5 a.m. Yeah. You're just like, it's pretty sick. I wouldn't fucking do that, but that's pretty fucking rad, bro. Mm-hmm. It's that same vibe. So yeah, I'm going straight up B. Pretty cool dude. Yeah.
I'm fine with B. All right. Drag. We kind of mentioned it a bit. I think, well...
I'm going above Twink. What do you put Twink at? We put Twink at B or C?
I think Twink was C.
Twink was C. I'm going A for drag queen. Here's what I'm going A for drag queen.
But they're so sassy.
No, here's the thing though. Here's the thing though.
Look,
all the positives of a Twink, right? Good class status, like, cause the outfits cost money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All the positives. But instead of it being a grown-ass tiny man, a small, angry man sassing your bitch ass, it's just the baddest bitch that you can tell is a man getting up in your face. You feel me? Just a bitch in full-on Rio makeup. You feel me? Just getting up in your face.
You said B? Right.
I'm going A. Here's why I'm not going B, though. You feel me? Because I know why you're leaning in towards B, because you don't like the sass.
I don't want the sass. I'm going to be honest, I don't want the sass.
Here's the thing. The same...
But look,
there's so much more feminine. There's so much more feminine.
I mean, I don't care about that. What I was gonna say about A is the confidence.
You might be gayer than me if you don't care about the
Well, yeah, I probably am a little more gay.
I was gonna say the femininity. Look, I'll deal with so much more sass. Like the sass I'll take from you.
Look, just talking to a fucking twink made me realize I was bi. So yeah, I'm probably gayer than you. But what I was gonna say is that as long as they have the confidence, I think that's very amendable, which could easily bring them to the A.
Yes.
So I'm fine. I'm more than fine with A, because the more I think about it, they are doing. Because I feel like most drag queens or like people who do drag have the confidence to go up on a stage. Like,
yes, it's like a very performative confidence that is very hot.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I'm more than fine with A. I think trying to power through this is pretty good, but yeah, I'm more than fine with A.
Okay,
Not
asexual.
What
it wasn't asexual.
I looked up types of gay people, and one of them says the geek, the queer geek.
No. What's the one where they exhibit very much female and male traits?
Non-binary? I don't know.
Non-binary. Yeah, non-binary. Where are you putting non-binary?
I'm fine with B.
B.
I feel like you have to be.
We're in terms of defining, we're putting both female and male non-binary people together. I think.
Yeah. I think is B.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I feel like
some of them do it incredibly well, some of them do it incredibly bad, and it's just
Yeah, I feel like most of the time they're just themselves, and I feel like non-binary, is a more encompassing term to just like be who you are. And not worry about, like, all the other, like, social things.
Whenever I think of a non-binary person, I either think of a black man with dreads and a bunch of gold jewelry.
Or Jamaican man, yes?
Yeah, just a gay Jamaican man, or straight up just a heavier set woman, and that's a heavier set woman with the short haircut. That's about it. That's the only two associations I have.
That's fair, but for me, I think
a black man with, like, 3 piercings in his ear.
Yeah, I think a part of it just... is the fact that nothing really resonates, which makes sense. Like there's so many options. Like if nothing really makes sense for you, and you are also just all inviting to whatever is out there, then yeah, just be non-binary. Yeah. You know, like for a time I thought about that, but I feel like maybe my choice in men or women were somewhat specific. So I was like, yeah, I'm probably not. I'm probably just bi.
I don't dress gay enough to say I'm non-binary.
Yeah.
Like I would like to say I'm non-binary, but I don't dress gay enough to say I'm non-binary. I could, deep in my soul, I could not pop out in the dress, so that just tells me I'm not non-binary.
Yeah, I think that too. Where like you are just.
I think if you're full, look, bro. I don't care if you think you're dead straight. If you full on think that the dress not that you would wear the dress, but if you full on think the dress makes you look good, you're non-binary, bro.
Yeah, cause then, I think also Well, from what I think, it feels like maybe non-binary also forgets all the other social aspects that can be applied to what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's why non-binary would probably be like a...
Yeah.
What did I say? Like a B or A?
Yeah, we agree with B.
I'm done with B. I'm done with B. Like they're up there and just like who they are, and that's it.
Let's see here. What other gays do we have, bro?
I don't know, otters. But, like, the only thing with otters...
counts. I think that barely counts.
Yeah, I feel like it's another subsect of gay. Yeah.
Yeah,
But what about just like Okay, let's go general. What about just a natural gay man and a lesbian? We'll start with gay man.
Which one we're ranking above another?
Well, we're starting with gay man. So, what do we think there? I think a gay man... Nah, because then we went to twink. I don't know if, like, getting broader... I feel like getting broader doesn't help.
Okay, hold on.
Same thing with lesbian doesn't really help.
All
right. You can look it up.
Jamie, pull it up.
We're going to take a quick break.
Hey, y'all, we're back. We had a little pause in time. We had to discuss the types of gay that exist.
And I had to pee.
Look, I'll be the first to say this. I don't want Anthony to say this just in case that this is somehow a hot take. Dude, the rest of them were straight up fucking fake, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
Well, I was okay. I know why you didn't want me to talk about. I was gonna say it's very convoluted after that, which makes sense. You know, as we explore this area of gender and sexuality, I think it becomes a spectrum, and with a spectrum, it means that there are infinite amount of possibilities, and in that sense, we cannot cover all that shit.
I was gonna say,
we can't cover that shit.
A lot of podcasts like say what I just said, where they're fake and shit. Dog, as a listener, really listen to what I'm saying right now. Like, I'm calling you the listener dog right now. One of the sexualities that was described right now was defined by this being defined. Look, I'm not going to just say which one just in case someone's a hot take or something, but one of the sexualities was described as someone being attracted to another. Not another sex, not another being, just another. Which, like, brother, is that not the same thing as, like, fucking, not bi-curious, what is it called, pansexual?
Yeah, like they end up overlapping.
Yeah, he's making a bunch of weird fucking names.
Yeah, like, it becomes convoluted, and... For us, it feels unnecessary. So, with that, I think we're going to end on the ultimate gender or sex, which is just straight people.
Yeah, just
do you want to separate straight women with straight men?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want to start with?
Straight men.
Okay.
As a whole, because I've seen the way that they interact. Look, here's the thing, though. You have to break it down into this. Straight men interacting with other straight men, fucking... A tier, bro. For the most part, chill ass interaction, bro.
Yeah.
You make bros super easily. You feel me? You figure out when weirdos are weirdos super fucking fast.
Yep.
Like, it's chill. You feel me? But when you're taking in terms of the way that straight men interact with females, bro,
and other
we're
groups
fucking deep.
of
I can't even say weird. I'm excluded from that weird. But straight men as a whole, as a massive encapsulation, I'm going D, and here's why. Because we're achieving the greatest heights.
Shit, yeah.
But
I'm gonna say
straight up the worst of the worst of the worst are straight men.
Shit, I'm gonna go a step further and say F, only because of the idea of toxic masculinity making its way so prevalent into our society.
Here's why I want to argue for D though.
Okay, go for it.
Because at the most, at the absolute highest, you feel me? I think we're seeing straight men.
Yeah.
And as a result, you feel me, that has to place them above D because they're also bracketing into the absolute highest. You feel me?
Okay, you know what? It's very broad, so I think I'm down with D.
It's so goddamn broad that you can't go into F.
Because then F, you're like, they're all pretty bad, which is less than like the coolest straight guy you know.
Okay, now here's where it gets good.
Okay.
Straight women on straight women interaction. Straight up F tier, bro.
Yeah.
Straight up F fucking tier, bro. The amount of like absurdity that I've heard, like,
yeah. Whenever I hear about like,
she stole my personality. You're like,
yeah. Whenever I hear about women talking to each other, and then like
that bitch looked at me funny, like,
yeah, it's like when we're watching the show, and it's like, how are you able to say this to another person, you know, and know what you actually mean in the background, you know, like they say something and then they go to a little like side note thing and they explain the badness that they were saying. It's like it really doesn't make sense.
In terms of straight female to straight male, I'm going C. Here's why.
Okay.
Because a lot of the times, straight women are propelling straight men to achieve the absolute highest of their highest. You feel me? Like, a lot of the times when you see like a straight man, he'll achieve the highest of the highest with the wife that he had since he was broke. And once he gets there, he'll break up with her.
Yeah. Okay.
You see that a lot, but in a lot of times you'll see that propulsion being associated with that woman in the background. You feel me? Because at the end of the day, a lot of the times it's like straight men need that connection with the straight woman.
Yeah.
In the background as like an associate or as like a mommy figure a lot of times, you feel me, to push them forward as like the cushion in the hard world type shit. You feel me? And I'm just putting them in C tier because of the amount of shit that they have to experience from just men as a whole. You feel me? Like if you're A, the food source, and B, the fuel source, you have to be a C tier at the very least. You feel me?
Call me a progressive.
You're going B?
I would put them both at D.
What?
Only because there are so many societal norms on both sides that I feel like it makes sense for them to be equally bad overall. While you might do these things, while you might actually technically provide more than another group, you're also doing it maybe because of the way you're raised.
Okay. So let's say we have the same ranking system, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's say the same ranking system for a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Would you put grass, right, like the plant grass, at D tier and put cows at D tier too, or would you put grass at C tier and put cows at D tier?
Well, that's the thing. The difference between like cows and grass is because one was born for it. But in my mind, personally, I think a lot of our cows, the men, like, while they might have the capability to it, we're more advanced than just a cow. So the fact that we've made all of our men into cows isn't fair to the men. Or isn't fair to the women because we made the cows. You know, like a lot of the reinforcement, a lot of the things we burned into them created cows. It's not fair for us to say that the cows are better than the grass if the majority of our time and the
But here's the
rearing.
thing, I'm trying to say the grass is better than the cows.
Why? Oh, huh?
Yeah. 'Cause
Wait, so then why would you?
I'm putting women at C and I'm putting men at D.
Oh, I thought you were putting both.
No. You put both of them at D. I put
No,
women
no.
at
I
C.
thought you put women at C and men at B.
No. I put,
Oh, you think men are D?
yeah, I think men
Why?
are D. Because straight men, right,
Okay.
as a whole, are encapsulating the absolute worst in humanity and the absolute best in humanity, at least from what I've achieved, right?
Yeah.
So if they're encapsulating the absolute worst, right, you have to put them relatively low, you feel me? Because they're encapsulating the absolute worst, you feel me?
Okay.
But you can't put them at F because they're also encapsulating the absolute best.
Okay.
So they have to
It brings them up from F to D.
Exactly.
Okay. You know what?
But because of that whole thing where I was putting like strong women are the fundamental propulsion for the absolute best of men.
Yeah.
You feel me? Then, cause like a lot of times when you see like some fucking crazy serial killer that's eating like fucking people on the side of the street, you feel me?
Yeah.
Like they don't have some crazy fucking wife on the sideline.
Yeah.
You feel me?
You know, okay, you know what? That's very fair.
That's what
I'm
I'm
down
saying.
for that. My bad. I thought you were trying to put men above women,
No, I'm
but
trying to put women above men.
I'm fine with that. I think that's very fair, especially in the sense that, like, well, what I was saying is that the fact that we, like, force so much stuff on men that it could eventually lead to a worse outcome because of the pressures that are put on them.
That's true. But I just think, sadly, just because of the physicality that men encompass, you
Yeah.
feel me? It's just like when people say that they can force it, like a woman can force a situation on you, like I guess, but realistically, like
It's never.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like
you
can't.
can, yeah, like
There's-
you can.
there is no
You can
excuse.
pull up. You can blow up my fucking house and home, and I'd be like, bitch, I'll really run the ones with you if you were trying to make me force me to do some shit.
Yeah.
You feel me? So at the end of the day, it doesn't embody that.
Okay, you know what? Then yeah, I'll greatly agree with you.
Yeah.
Straight women at what?
And straight women at C, straight men at D.
I'm more than fine with that because I think
You heard it here first, folks. Butch lesbians, gay bears. Dude,
they are the
you guys
best
have
of
won.
people. You
Straight
guys
up.
won. You
Straight
are the
up.
future, and I'm fine with that because y'all are chill as fuck.
Yeah, straight up. Because they both can change a tire. They both can change a tire and they both can wear a dress, bro. Like, what the fuck? They encompass everything in
You're like
humanity.
swagged out and chill.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, straight up.
That's more unfair. Yeah, because
That's actually, I think this might be the best take on this podcast thus far.
that bunch of lesbians and bear men are the S tier of people. I'm down for that.
This might be what takes us out the hood, bro. You clip this right here, and this might be what takes us out the hood.
I think that's fair. Well, how do you feel about like giving these takes as like a bi guy or whatever? Like,
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's 100% fair. But here's the thing between bisexuality, right? Bisexuality. Oh, we didn't even talk about bi people in this, right?
nah, we didn't.
Nah. Okay. Here's the thing about bi people. I think
Well, I also feel like.
bi people are the most hated in the gay community.
Well, I was gonna say we're probably biased because we're both the bi men.
Yeah, agreed. But here's the thing, though. Bi people as a whole are some of the most judged people in the gay community. Like, for example, bi women, never taken as bi. They're always taken as, like, interpretatively straight. Like, they're like, I like women, but I always
They're
fuck with
straight,
men.
but sometimes they like to get goofy.
There's that straight, there's that stereotype. Exactly.
Yeah. They like to mess around.
And then gay men are, like...
Honestly, most of the time, I feel like we're just thrown in as gay.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Because from straight people, you're just thought of as gay because you're fucking dudes. And from gay people, a lot of the times, it's like, yeah, it's taken as very interpretive.
Yeah. It's very much on the person, on like what you think a bi person is, because you just actually, before we finish, do you mind me asking what makes you feel like a bi person versus a non-binary person? Because I've always, even as I come to the realization that I'm bi, I feel like I'm also very open to different different ideas. But I stuck with bi because I personally felt that like I'm either gonna be with some kind of woman, someone who classifies himself as a woman, or a very feminine man. But I'm gonna keep the idea of a man.
Yeah, it's the association with masculinity to me for a lot of the times. It's like the perception of like when I said earlier, like as a bi man, I don't really think it's like appropriate for me to wear a dress because that would start probing into the identity of like pansexual or like
okay, so more with
or
free
exactly
borders or whatever.
it's just like my association with the male identity is what ends up keeping me closer to a bisexual man than it does to like a pansexual or what's it called? What's the other one called?
Gender neutral.
Yeah, gender neutral or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
That just because at the end of the day, I still associate with a lot of manly tendencies and a lot of like what I strive to be as a human being ends up embodying a lot of masculine traits or whatever.
Okay,
like,
yeah. So
ideally,
you're just like in your core, you're still a man.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair because I feel like most non-binary people relieve that idea of like male or female.
Like
that's it.
Look, deep in my heart, like I would still like to be the main provider of my home. Like ideally, like I like at the end of the day, I still want my partner to be like an at-home partner. Like I would like to be the main source of income in my relationship.
Yeah.
I would like to.
And that rears towards masculinity.
Yeah, and then like at the end of the day, like my way of dressing, I don't really like associate with hyper feminine clothing. At the end of the day, a lot of like.
Like we would paint our nails and stuff. They're
like I've painted my nails in the past, but in terms of like my comfort level, I don't really like painting my nails. And a lot of what I've noticed is I don't like addressing the femininity in my identity. Like let's say I paint my nails and someone's like, "Why do you paint your nails?" Like I don't like being in that interaction at all. Like I don't want someone questioning that shit.
Yeah.
And it's like if I do it, it's like I don't want someone questioning that. So I've ended up realizing that, like, if that is really what I stand by and I don't want to even be in that confrontation, then that's not something that, like, I, like... If it's not deep enough for me to be like, bitch, I painted mine, like, you feel me, then I really don't fucking care. And it's like, if a soul interaction is enough to keep me away from that, then I don't really associate with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, don't get me wrong, I've seen some crazy fucking nail designs on Instagram where I'm like, that would look fucking awesome. But even then, it's just more the artistic value of what that represents instead of like the femininity behind that ideal.
Yeah, where that looks cool, but I won't do it.
Yeah.
Like seeing a cool fit online, you're like, that's sick. Not me though.
Yeah, like you wouldn't catch me in a crop top, not because I don't think that crop tops look good, but just because in terms of my personal identity,
with who you are.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, I don't know if this is a negative, but like, it's like, let's say like I have a son, I would want to raise him in a not a hyper masculine ideal, but in a more masculine ideal in terms of like, let's say like going fucking fishing, playing sports, going out in nature, like.
Yeah.
I don't really like. I'm not like my son needs to play with dolls for me to be happy. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like you'll just let him be who he is, and if it falls more on the feminine side, you'll be okay.
Exactly.
If it falls on the male side, you'll be okay. But in the end,
what I represent to this human being is the masculine side of it.
Like in the end, if he feels like he's rearing more towards a side, then you will apply your experience appropriately.
Yeah, like
if
my thing is
if they're going towards more a feminine side, then let the mom handle it.
Yeah, like I want to be the male to my partner's female in terms of our child's development.
Yeah,
so
because
that's what it is.
Yeah, okay, that's more unfair. For me, I feel like it's very much that sense of not being as open. You know, like I very much am okay with who I am, the things I like, and the way I express myself. But in the end, I feel I've always felt a strong pull towards being a man.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with just being a bi dude, and versus trying to develop that into something that maybe doesn't align with who I am.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'll just leave it as that. I'm a bi dude, and that's it.
Yeah, I think ultimately, like, it's like a lot of the times I think that the whole like perception of sexuality that the left has pushed, or like let's say the internet. I think it's more the internet than anything else.
It's the internet.
It's the fucking internet.
Normal
bro.
people don't have those extreme
Exactly.
views.
Yeah, I think that the push is like to be flamboyant or to like try and like
push
grow,
off
or
that
to like
you're bi.
grow into your sexual build
Yeah.
off of or whatever. But it's just like do whatever the fuck you're comfortable with and like.
And that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really it. Like, if you feel like there's something missing and you have to push yourself to get to it, then push yourself. But the same way we found a comfortable spot in being okay with these two genders, then that's where we stop. And that's it. Like, we're comfortable here and we're good with it.
Beautiful example, bro. Like, you don't have to, like, out-diddy yourself every other thing, bro. Like, you don't have to build off of freakiness, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you could just be where you're at and be happy. Like, you don't have to, like, bro, you do not have to put GHB in the baby oil, bro. Just chill with the baby oil, bro.
And
But,
that
yeah.
comes down to our sole idea of just be freaky but not creepy. You don't have
Thank
to.
you! Yes!
You never have to push yourself to a
be
point.
creepy, bro.
Yeah.
If you feel uncomfortable with the shit that you're doing, bro, take a step back and really analyze what the fuck you're doing, bro.
Yeah, the same way that these societal norms might push you into a place that you never feel comfortable. If you force yourself to be outside of that to a place that you're not comfortable, it's the same thing. Just stop.
Yeah.
And just be who you are at the point of being comfortable. Because in the end, all this shit's a spectrum. All this shit is so variant in the way that you grew up and the person that you were born as, that you should just be comfortable in who you are, and that's more than fine. Because in the end, like, most people are not going to care. There are going to be bad people who will push a certain agenda on you, but as long as you know who you are, then you will be strong enough to withstand or like withhold all the negative comments that come your way.
Say no to others and say no to yourself, bro. Learn how to do both of those things.
Yeah,
bro.
those are very important. Because in the end, if you say no to the bad things that come into your mind, then you're going to be the good person who lives through it.
For real. And you're not your thoughts either, bro.
Yes.
Real shit.
Oh God. Well, I mean, that was a good breakdown. I feel like we got through a lot. So if you agree with our ranking on gay people, honestly, we might have
We might have the most valid gay ranking on the internet thus far.
I was
bro.
gonna say we might need another gay person on the pod.
No,
so.
bro. I think no, bro.
We'll see.
I
We'll
think-
see. We'll see.
We will see, but genuinely, I think that we have the most like
Pretty like
the most thought out gay ranking system that has ever been done on the internet thus far, bro.
I'm God's best
Bro,
thinker.
I'm God's best analysis in terms of gay people, bro. Because I think we really broke that bitch down, bro.
Yeah, we did spend a lot of time on each thing. So
That's what I'm saying,
you know,
man.
hopefully you guys enjoyed.
If you agree, leave a comment. If you don't, please fist
Yeah,
fight me,
give us
bro, 'cause
your
I-
thing. Give
I
us your-
stand by what I said.
All right, stay safe and
Stay freaky, not creepy.
good night.
Good night.